And with more on the Dubs via phone, our West Coast scribe from NBA.com, Scott Howard Cooper is with us, and the schedule came out back on Thursday, Scott. The Dubs open with their rival San Antonio, and in looking at some of these early season games, does a retooling of the team excuse them for any record repeat this year, as they will be playing in some really big games while they continue to gel?
I think so, and I don't think it's necessarily an excuse them as much as it's just the reality that while this team is obviously stacked in crazy ways, in the ways that every other team would like, there is going to be a transition period, and it's going to be much different than, say, a year ago when they began the season with largely the same group and the championship experience and the soaring confidence. I think they have reasons for the soaring confidence this time, but I think they also know that it could take a little bit of time just for people to be finding their way, how to fit into the offense, how are all the guys going to get their shots, just that normal X's and O's stuff.
Well, it's going to be an emotional night, and we had the schedule up there in part. November 3rd, OKC at Oracle, Christmas rematch with Cleveland. The finals rematch will be at the Q, and Durant returns to OKC on February 11th. What do you have circled on your calendar in terms of seeing Golden State and a test you're looking forward to?
Well, I don't know if there's one specific game. It's hard to pull one out of 82 if you're looking for something as far as the emotions and the one that's going to garner the most interest. It's certainly KD's return to Oklahoma City. But whether they win by 50 or lose by 50, I don't think will make their season a success or a failure. I see two different blocks, and that's the beginning and the end. Because if we're talking about the Warriors and the big picture, then they're fine, even if they get off to a slow start. But if you're talking about the Warriors and the chance to win 74, and by the way, you know, Steve Kerr is just cursing us right now for even suggesting 74 wins. But if we're putting them in the context of going for the record again, thinking that the team could be better than a year ago, they play 9 of their first 14 on the road in the Open, as you mentioned, with the Spurs. So there's going to be some big challenges early on, 2 3-game trips, all while, as we talked about a few minutes ago, they're in this transition phase. So that's going to be a real issue for them. If they can do well, I think that it's going to encourage a lot of people to start tossing around the 74 again. And then the other big thing is at the very end, they're going to have 11 of their last 16 at home, which obviously helps. But these guys have been through such a grind, and they're going to, again, just emotionally because of all the attention. We saw how they struggled at the end of 2015-16 and really had to push hard to get to 73 in the record. Now they're doing it after playing into June for a second time and with 3 of their guys in the Olympics, so they're going to have a shorter vacation. Again, the benefit of playing at home at the end will be really good. But if they're thinking about staying fresh, that's going to be the big challenge. It's going to be the end of the regular season, and how are they peaking or not peaking for the playoffs?
Good points all, and like a good Scott Howard Cooper story, it had a beginning, a middle, and an end when it came to looking at the Warriors season. Thank you, Scott. We'll talk to you down the road. Appreciate it.
Have a great day.
All righty. Dennis, I'll turn to you. For these super teams when they're assembled, what's sort of the figure-it-out period?
For me, it's after those first couple days of practice, and you say that very casually because as Steve Kerr figures out this new offense, knowing that he has 3 potent guys that can get hot at any given time, will that flow be there for them? Will they stay unselfish? Okay? And then lastly, Golden State Warriors play pretty good defense. So Kevin Durant has to bring a defensive mindset, too, that this team and organization had changed their stripes over the last 3 or 4 years. You go back 4 years ago, we never said Golden State to be a good defensive team. But they've changed that. So now Kevin Durant has to bring that as well.
Dennis, real quick, give me a number on their season win. What do you think, win total?
I think there'll be somewhere in the mid-60s.
Okay.
I don't think 74 is a real number to go for. The Western Conference is getting better. Just go out and play your game.
Yeah, you can live with that in the Western Conference. You can live with that.